Friday morning. Thank you. Welcome to the Burning River Browns Talk. I am Lou Marconi at L Marconi251 on Instagram and at L Marconi 1973 on X. Thank you for joining me this morning. Doing a show this Friday morning here on YouTube and on the Fanatical Elves Network to kind of get shed a little bit of light on what I think about Nick Chubb and what the Dante Foreman signing means for Nick Chubb and for the Browns. I have an article that's going to be dropping about that on the Fans First Sports Network. So this podcast will be attached to that. Just talk about that and kind of just a little bit of reaction to some of the national news about the Jerry Jeudy contract. So we're going to go ahead and get into that. But before I do that, let me pause for a break for our sponsors. We do have bills to pay. Here we go. Okay, we're back. Thank you. I appreciate your patience with me. I appreciate you viewing. I appreciate all of you for joining me. And I love the comments. I love the feedback. Guys, anytime. Thank you. Let's go ahead and get right into it. The Browns signed the running back. He was with the Chicago Bears last year, and he was with the Carolina Panthers before that. He was originally Houston Texan. So he's been around the league for a little bit, and he actually was with Deshaun Watson in Houston his rookie year. Dante Foreman, he's a big back. He's a very he's about 235 pounds. I want to say 6 feet tall. So he's a good sized back. I think what this means for the offense is he's going to be a short yardage back. He's going to replace Kareem Hunt. And I think the first 4, maybe 5 weeks of the season, he will be a part of a running back by committee with Jerome Ford. I haven't seen the Browns go out of their way to replace Nick Chubb yet. I haven't seen them sign a free agent that would do that, that would constitute doing that. Dante Foreman is not a Nick Chubb replacement. I mean, how are you going to replace Nick Chubb? So Nick Chubb's not going anywhere. He's still under contract for a year, and at least for this year, he will be here. I think they're going to work something out with him, probably by training camp. I would think, and I would also think that possibly Amari Cooper could have something worked out to extend him maybe another year or two, possibly. But Amari Cooper is a little bit different. Nick Chubb is getting at that age, but Nick Chubb's always going to be a Cleveland Brown. And what I think will happen is just what I'm saying is that they're going to go by running back by committee until Nick Chubb's ready to come back. And it's going to be tough. That was a gruesome knee injury. He probably be ready the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season to start playing in games again and get off the physically unable to perform list, the pup list. I think that's what's going to happen. This is just me making an informed observation and an opinion. I have no insider information, nothing of that sort. But what you can do is you can look and see what the team is doing to understand what their thought process is and how they're doing things. For instance, the Jerry Jeudy contract, which from what I've seen some national reaction. Okay, we could talk about that, but they believe he's going to be a top receiver. They invested in him for the next 4 years. He's about to turn 25. He was in a bad situation in Denver. They feel they put him in the right situation and in the right offense, he will flourish as a receiver. He was an 800-yard guy annually, an 800-yard receiver. For a number 2 receiver, that's good. For a number 2. So he's going to be a number 2 this year, groomed possibly to be number 1 if we can't keep Cooper. If we can keep Cooper, it's a 1A, 1B type of situation. And Elijah Moore's still on the team, and he's a good 3. It makes sense. It made sense to do that. Just like it makes sense to be prudent about Nick Chubb. Let him rehab. Let him come back as strong as possible. Don't rush him back. Have running back by committee. We get that 100 yards rushing a game with 2 or 3 different running backs, 110, 120 yards. We're going to be fine for the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. Heck, the schedule didn't even come out yet, so we don't even know. And injuries do happen in football. I'm hoping. This is me hoping that Nick Chubb can come back the same way Adrian Peterson did. And both Adrian Peterson and Nick Chubb are absolute, how can I say it, athletic freaks in nature, what they can do. So they could do it. So let's hope and pray that that does happen as Browns fans. Um, Now, the national reaction to the Jerry Judy contract I find interesting, and I'm going to make this observation. I think if it was the other way around and the Browns were in a bad cap situation and traded Jerry Judy to the Denver Broncos, and the Denver Broncos brought him in and extended him and said, "Hey, we're gonna use you in our offense. We think our future is with you as a receiver." Okay, national media would be like, "Oh, this is a great move. This is fantastic. Wow, Denver, man, they fleeced the Browns. They got a possibly number one receiver for a fifth and a sixth round pick." But instead, what are the Browns doing? He's not that good. Well, he wasn't that good in Denver. No, to be a first round number 15 pick. He underperformed a little bit, not a lot, but under a little bit. So I think it's more or less the national perception of the Cleveland Browns that we're fighting still to this day. Because for over 20 years, before Stefanski and Barry took over in 2020, we weren't a good team. We only had two winning seasons and one playoff appearance. We had constant turnover. We had incompetence running the team. There's competence that's been running this team for the last 4 years, and it shows. The team that's going to be fielded in 2024, or the defense, I should say more specifically, is pretty darn close to what we had in 2023. I think Quentin Jefferson's an upgrade from who was there before. I think Jordan Hicks is an upgrade in linebacker. Devin Bush is more of an experiment, but they might draft somebody too. So Jordan Elliott was who Quentin Jefferson replaced, and Jordan Elliott had a good year last year. He had his best year as a pro, and he got a nice contract with San Francisco. Good for him. So my point being is that let's see what happens on the field. Observe what the team is doing when it comes to other players and how they're seeing things. Behavior is language. That's how they're talking to us. They're not going to sit in a press conference and tell us exactly what their draft strategy is or what their free agency strategy is or their trade strategy. They're going to show it by their actions. Observe that. That's my advice to all of you guys. Observe that. So I wanted to let you know we have a weekend coming up. Enjoy your weekend. What I got with my family is I'm gonna be downtown with my family tomorrow for a cheerleading event for my daughters, 8 and 6 years old. My wife and I are going to have a chance to have a date night on Sunday, so we're going to go check out the Ghostbusters movie over the weekend. I'll let you know what I think of it, and pretty much. I'm going to be available if any Browns news does break over the weekend, which I probably won't, but I will. And I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate the fact that you guys join me every day here at 8:30 in the morning sharp. I'm here wearing my Browns gear, ready to talk Browns. This is the Burning River Browns Talk. I want to let you know that whenever the river burns, it always burns brown and orange. Have a good weekend. I'll see you Monday.